This is Super Black. I'm Carl.
And I'm Dan.
And we are here super late on a weekday for you because legitimately we haven't put out a lot of episodes due to, scheduling, life, basically life. This is our side gig, people. We do this for free. But I wanted to hold Dan hostage for a couple more minutes and just have a quick chat about something we started quite a while ago, actually, that I wanted to revisit because I thought we kind of left it in a weird place and I wanted to get the conversation going again. So in one of our Forge trysts, in one of our tangents on character creating, we were establishing a backstory or a character history for the superhero in the Super Black logo, who we named aptly Super Black. I wanted to revisit this because I think it's important to have some sort of, historical document for this character. And I want to put it up on the site so people can kind of read our thoughts and kind of follow along as we craft this character, throughout the podcast. I think that's what I want to do for a bit. And I want to just kick it off today in a really short episode that we'll put out for you guys to listen to and hopefully contribute to, give us your thoughts and see where we end up. So there were pieces of this character that I really liked. Do you remember a whole lot of what we talked about?
It's coming back to me as you're speaking about it. It's like we pretty much dressed him in it's like what's called a super black material, so he blends into the dark.
Exactly. So he was basically in the suit. He looked like a cutout in the universe, like a black hole, like a just negative.
It was more of like a Gotham Central type of situation where you don't necessarily know who the character is.
Yes,
the character exists in the background,
and legitimately in the background, just like it's just this space in time, just a thing, a human shaped hole in the universe, basically. So
yes,
I really enjoy that aspect, but I want to establish a couple things for the character, just so we have a base before we get into kind of the storytelling of it all, because we did come up with kind of a base for the story, but we'll revisit that in a bit. So we know one thing that this character can do. I guess two things. One, they can blend into the night, or actually, I don't think they can blend in anywhere because since light doesn't reflect off of them in any form or fashion, they're always visible. No? Because there's nothing they can stand in front of that won't look like there's a human-shaped cutout in it, whether it's night or dark, night or day.
Your brain would spend most of its time trying to figure out what's going on in front of it.
Exactly.
Your brain would be confused half the time.
Yeah, they would perplex literally everything around them. And so that's one. And two, we know that this person can fly because in the logo, they are clean sweeping through the logo.
Yes.
So there is flight of some indeterminate speed happening, and there is a perplexing kind of horror, like visage, not even a visage. I don't know what to call it. A lack of being to this being. So we have two things. Since this person is basically just a cutout when they put on this whatever fabric it is. I know we said it was like NASA fabric, but maybe it's alien fabric. It's alien something.
Reverse engineered.
Yeah, something that's gone horribly wrong. So that maybe one of their powers is they can make anything they touch kind of negative as well, so they can pull things into this void, and it's kind of like a black hole. Like as they pull it in, it stops existing, kind of like just disappears into nothing. Like what is the opposite of something? Like how do we? I don't know how to articulate that. Like
I'm trying to figure that out in my head as you speak as well.
How
would you make that? How'd you make that a practice? Like it sounds like more like a curse than it is a superpower.
Yeah, I'm not holding this person to being not a horror show. It
Mhm.
most certainly could be. We could start there. We can move away from it. I'm trying to think of some of the how to incorporate this inky black nothingness into some sort of ability that they can use or not use or be terrified of. Maybe it's a hindrance.
Mhm.
Like,
Say, I'm see where you're going with that. I'm still down for the whole DARPA thing too. The whole secret identity spawning through like an offshoot of DARPA. There's a lot of technology that's unbeknownst to most people
mhm.
with the clearance. I'm trying to figure out like, how would you make that power work?
See, this is the thing. It could be. It doesn't have to be a power that they want to use. It could be some side effect. Like maybe it's some uncontrollable. Like they put this fabric on, or they put the suit on, or the nanobots, or whatever it ends up being. And sometimes it goes haywire, or they lose control of their lose control of this outfit or this alien, the symbiote, whatever it is, and it just starts to negate things.
See, as you're saying that, I'm thinking about the power of flight, and doesn't necessarily have to be the power of flight, but the power of propulsion in terms of like a magnet. Now, whatever he touches or whatever he's on automatically deflects him, so it just shoots him into the air, shoots him, her,
Yeah.
it shoots it into the air, and that's the same way they land as well.
So they're basically reversing the polarity, reversing their own
not
polarity.
reversing, but it's like changing their polarity in such a way where whatever is touching will automatically deflect.
Like Magneto.
Yes.
And I do like the DARPA or secret agency, but maybe it's not even a person. Maybe it's an experiment that became sentient and took on the form of its captors. So it just kind of it's still black, but it's not necessarily a man or a woman or a thing. Or it legitimately is a thing that simply shaped itself into the form of the humans that created it.
Maybe. So now that we're talking about this, I'm curious to go back to the episode where we actually talked about this. I think it was the first episode we did together.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
And actually listen to what we put down on paper at that point, and compared to what we're doing now. How far off are we from the original idea now?
I don't think we're that far off. I think we've covered a lot of the basics of it. I remember most of it, but yeah, maybe I'll do a previously on and inject that episode into this episode so people can hear our ramblings now versus our ramblings then, which makes it a lot more fun.
No, I'm totally down for that. Like, I want to actually write down the power sets. Like, how'd you make that work? Like once again, that's how my brain works. Like, okay, it sounds good. How'd you make that practical?
Yeah, and I again, not opposed to making a monster.
I think that's what we settled on the first time around. The character was more ambiguous than anything else. Like, it was super, but not necessarily superhero.
Just a super thing.
Yeah, it's like we played it up more as a mystery.
And as a quick aside, in the amount of Forge characters that we have created, which one do you find the most interesting?
I really like the Black Manta version.
Mm-hmm.
But that's only because that's like the freshest in my mind right now. I want to delve back into Super Black.
Agreed. I agree with you. My favorite is still Black Manta. Second favorite only to our Ghost Rider alternative. Yeah. So thank you everyone for listening to us ramble very late in the day.
Late in the day.
Yeah.
Late at night.
Well,
sun's gone down.
It's still a day. We are still on a day, so it's still late.
No. For me, days is when the sun is up. Night is when the sun's down. It's 11:15.
You're
PM.
You're too literal. Thank you all for listening to us ramble so late. Please follow us on Twitter at superblack.org or follow Dan on Instagram at
_basement monster.
And he's going to put out his wonderful book, The Carnival Prince, very soon. So stay tuned for that. We will be promoting it on this podcast. as well as other places like Facebook and Twitter and all over the place. Thank you all again for listening. Please rate, subscribe on iTunes. That's all we got for you tonight. Whenever you listen to this, just tell a friend and get the word out. And then you can listen to it at night as well. And you can be as tired as we are. Thanks everyone for listening. That has been Super Black. Full stop.
See you real soon.